this video, I'm going to be answering the questions that you guys had for me. We're going to start with, where are you from? I was actually born just outside of Seattle, Washington, but most of my childhood memories that I remember were here in Utah, which is where I still currently live, in this beautiful state with these giant, gorgeous mountains and all 4 beautiful seasons. How old are you? I'm 24 years old. How old do you think I am before you knew the answer? I always ask people because people often think that I'm a lot older than I am. It's happened for years and years of my life, but people are always surprised when I tell them that I'm 24 years old, but I am. What is your ethnicity? My dad is actually from Nigeria in Africa. He actually moved here when he was 15 years old, which is where he met my mom, who is from Utah. She is very fair-skinned, blonde, beautiful woman, and her background, she has a lot of Icelandic background and a lot of Danish background. So I am the combination of those 2 things. Next question is, do you believe in God? Yes, I do. My faith is actually one of the most important things to me in my life. So yes, I do believe in God. How tall are you, and are you left-handed? I am actually 5'7", I think. I was 5'7" when I graduated high school, and I don't think I've actually measured myself since. So I'm around 5'7", and what was the other one? Oh, left-handed. No, I'm actually not left-handed. I'm a righty. Introverted or extroverted? I would have to say that it depends on the situation. In a social setting, when we're around a lot of people or around a lot of our friends, I would say I'm very extroverted. But I also would say I'm introverted in some other ways, so kind of a combination of the 2. I don't know if I'm more one than the other. It really just kind of depends on where I am and the situation. When did you start to become more mindful, and was there a specific situation? This is really interesting because I don't know if I could trace it back to a specific, event or situation that happened in my life that made me, want to be more mindful. I think that a lot of it, and I attribute a lot of it actually to the way that I was raised. My mom was awesome. She would have a new quote on the fridge every single week, or a new word that we could learn, and like a strange word that we probably have never heard of. She would have that written out on the fridge and with the definition, and she'd have us use it in a sentence so we could learn how to use these cool, fascinating words. She also would have thinking ahead jar. We would be able to put some change in the jar if we were caught thinking ahead, and she would yell through the house, "Thinking ahead!" If one of us thought ahead for a specific situation. And then once the jar filled up, we would go get a treat or something. But, oh, that reminds me, bored. So if we were ever bored as kids, my mom she made an acronym out of the word bored. So each letter, and I can't remember exactly what they were, each letter had a definition to it, or a question that we would have to ask ourselves, or we could go look at the board chart if we were bored to find something to do rather than just sitting around. So my parents were very influential in that mindfulness, and I think that a lot of it is just how I was raised. Plus, I'm just naturally a really observant person. I notice things around me. I notice people around me. I'm very good at reading people, sensing their energy. It's just something that I've always done. I've always just been very aware of my surroundings and very aware of others and how they are feeling. I'm going to combine 2 questions right here. One is, what is your take on friendships since leaving social media, and how did your friends react? So my take on friendships since leaving social media, really, it's been a while since I've left my Instagram. And like I said, I never was very active on Facebook other than when I was in like junior high, and you'd post like, "This was the best day ever," stuff like that. As far as friendships go, I think that it's been a great thing for my friendships, because the friendships that were more, I don't even know the right word to use, not really a friendship that I cared enough about or that I was very invested in, or vice versa, they weren't that invested in me. Those friendships kind of just fizzled out. And those are a lot of friends from high school, maybe people that I met in college that I didn't really need to keep up with anymore. But the friendships that I stayed up with, I'd have to actually really put effort into those. And so I think it's actually benefited my relationships a lot in that way, that I have to really make sure that I'm reaching out to these people often so that I can keep up with their lives. I have to text my friends because one of my good friends from high school, had a baby about a year ago. So once she had the baby, I didn't get to see pictures because I wasn't on social media. And she's actually not on social media very much either. So I had to text her and be like, can you send me a picture? Like for his first birthday, I'm like, send me a picture of him. I haven't seen him for a couple of months. But like things like that, it really forces me to make sure that I'm keeping on top of those relationships. And I really like it. I like keeping in touch in a different way, in an old school way, I guess. And I think it makes for a stronger and a more of a real relationship. I actually know more about what's going on in their life because I talk to them off of social media. I don't just see all the posts and think that I know that they're okay or I know everything that's going on. I'm more of the behind the scenes friend that really knows them. So I'd say it's been really beneficial for my friendships. And how my friends reacted to me deleting it, it wasn't really a thing. Like, I told them I deleted it. It wasn't like I announced it. I'm like, hey guys, guess what? I deleted my social media. It wasn't like that. It was more of when we got together and we were talking about it, they'd be like, did you see this or did you see that? And I'm like, no, I actually deleted my Instagram. And they were like, oh, you did? Oh, why? And they'd ask why and I'd explain it and they'd be like, oh, cool. Yeah, that makes sense. Like, no one was ever questioning me or asking why I did that or saying it's a horrible decision. And actually, a few of my friends from my example have either started using it less or completely gotten rid of a certain platform that they didn't feel like needed anymore. So it's been pretty good. Next question. Are you a gamer? No, I'm not a gamer. I actually do not even have a gaming console in this house. We don't really play video games at all, but occasionally we'll play Nintendo 64. We'll borrow it from my parents' house and we will play Nintendo 64 for the night, which is really fun. I love it. And as far as Sims goes, when I was younger, Sims was my absolute favorite computer game. I played it all the time and I loved to build my house and select, how many kids were going to be in my family. Sims was the bomb. So I can only imagine how it is now, especially all the improvements that they've made. So it's a good idea that I don't play Sims because I'd probably be playing it nonstop. Another question was, do you have apps on your phone? And if so, what apps? So I'm assuming that this is talking about like social apps or games. But I actually was looking through because I'm like, what do I have on here? Because there's only the few main apps that I use all the time. And then the other ones are just kind of, I forget about. So I went through my apps to see what I had. And I actually only have one game. It's called Psych. And I've never actually played it. I downloaded it for an old job that I had. We were going to play it as a team activity. And we didn't end up playing it. So it's just there waiting to be played. But I have YouTube, obviously, on my phone. The only other social media app, I guess you could call it, is Pinterest. I love Pinterest because I love food and I love baking and I love interior design. I love homes and beautiful interiors. I mean, can't you tell by this beautifully designed room that I'm sitting in right here? But I love Pinterest because I love to pin ideas for a future home. I love to find new recipes to make and to try and take to some neighbors and friends. So I love Pinterest for that reason. And I would say those are the games or social apps I have on my phone, aside from apps most people have, like banking apps or travel apps or maps apps and things like that. But that's about it. Oh wait, I forgot to add. I also have a couple furniture apps because, like I said, I love interior design. So I have Joss & Main and a Birch Lane app, and really, that is about it. Next question is, do you watch any TV shows? And I don't really watch TV shows, to be honest, especially the last couple of years. I really haven't watched much TV. Bracken and I did just finish watching The Last Dance, which was awesome. That's Michael Jordan's kind of documentary about the Bulls, and it was really fun to watch. So we did just finish watching that. But aside from that, I don't have any shows that I'm currently watching. I don't really like to start new series because I hate cliffhangers and I hate the feeling of wanting to see what happens next. And so you just, you fall into the next episode. So I just avoid TV series and I usually just stick to movies. Of course, I have seen TV series though before. We actually started watching How to Get Away with Murder a few years ago, but never actually finished it because it's one of those that really sucks you in. So I haven't watched it for probably over a year. I love the series Parenthood, which we watched 4 years ago. I've seen Stranger Things, but that's pretty much it. Next question is, do you like sports? I love sports. I grew up playing volleyball and still play on a city league with my friends every fall, and it's so much fun. And we play a lot of pickleball right now. Bracken and I, my sister and her husband, my parents, we play pickleball at least twice a week together probably. And we have so much fun doing that. As far as watching sports, love to watch basketball, love to watch football. I never thought I would be into baseball, and I don't watch baseball on TV, but we have been to Boston a few times with our friends over the past couple of years, and we went to a Red Sox game, and it was so much fun. It was a great game and we had a blast. So I think I actually like baseball if I can be there physically, but watch a lot of basketball, watch a lot of football, and yeah, big fan of sports. Okay, last question I'm going to answer in this video. I saved my favorite one for the very last, and it is, how did you meet your husband? And we actually met in the 3rd grade. He won't ever start the story saying that, but I will, because we sat by each other the whole entire year pretty much of 3rd grade. He does not remember me, but I remember him because he got me in trouble all the time. So we met in 3rd grade, and then I went to a different school for the rest of elementary, and then we reconnected in high school. So sophomore year in high school, we became really good friends. We hung out all the time. Sophomore, junior year, senior year, we started dating more exclusively. And then we graduated. I went to college. I dated around a little bit in college, figured out he was exactly what I wanted. Luckily, he wanted me, so he wasn't dating anybody else. He was patiently waiting for me to come around to the idea that we would be great together. So we got married a couple of years out of high school, and we've been married for 4 years now, and it is so much fun being married to your best friend. Life is really good, and we have a blast together. That's gonna wrap it up for the end of this little about me video, something kind of different that I don't usually do on my channel, but something kind of fun. Hopefully you feel like you kind of know me a little bit better. If you have more questions, leave them in the comments below and I'll try to answer a few more down there. But thank you for being here. I hope you have a great day, and I will talk to you very soon.